Okay, so this is the Deffinition Slenderman review. Over Christmas, I came into a bit of money. I'm not gonna lie, I was balling. So I thought, I'll treat me son to a game. So I went on the PlayStation Store. They had Tomb Raider on 20 quid. I thought I'll buy that. That review's coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that one, all you loyal fans, the both of you. I know you're eagerly awaiting my thoughts on that. And Slenderman was on for 3 quid. So obviously I've heard quite a lot of things about Slenderman over the last 5 or 6 years. I think it's been used as sort of a horror motif. I don't know if you recall, a few years ago in America there was some kids who killed someone, and then they told them that Slenderman tried to do it, told the police that. Obviously didn't stand up in court, as he was made up for this game. The same way I tell people that Super Mario taught me to take magic mushrooms, which is actually true, but no one fucking believes it. Anyway, so this is my thoughts on the game. I haven't written this review, so it's just kind of going to be me rambling on about the positives and negatives of it. So it starts off really sunny, and you instantly notice it's got kind of a Blair Witch feel to it, and you explore this creepy house. It suddenly gets really dark, and I do think the game is really atmospheric. It does a good job of like sucking you into this world and giving you a lot of scares. Like, probably my favourite horror game of all time is probably Alien Isolation, just because of the atmosphere. And I think that horror games in general need to have a really good atmosphere to kind of bring you in and make you get scared, really. I mean, that's going to be the toughest thing in any horror game, scaring you. And Slenderman, you know, it does a good job. It is very low budget, so don't expect some of the high quality, high end expensive stuff that you'd get from Alien Isolation, like getting sucked into airlocks and going into space and stuff like that. Obviously you're not going to be going into space, are you, in a fucking forest? So, you know, just disclaimer there. If you want to buy a space game, if you want to buy a space game, try out Star Wars Battlefront. So yeah, there's my recommendation of the year. So yeah, you start off exploring this creepy house. You know, the graphics of the game aren't amazing, but they cleverly make up for the lack of graphics in the sound. So even though, you know, it's not that good looking, you still do get sucked in the atmosphere. They also use shadow really well. Like, for a lot of the game, you're pretty much going to be walking around with just a flashlight, and that's your only weapon. I mean, Slenderman, the way he works basically is he'll pop up and dot about, and if you look at him too long, you die. So you get given objectives as you go into this map. You don't really have any bearings. You can't see what the map is itself, so you can't really navigate that well. You just got to kind of run from landmark to landmark, collecting these 8 pages. Later on in the game it kind of follows that formula, but initially that's pretty much all you do. That is the game. And around when you run in, you're going to see Slenderman. You're going to have to turn around, and the more pages you collect, the more frequently he appears. So you are building a really tense atmosphere yourself, because you do want to progress through the game, but you know in doing so that if you do progress, you're going to see Slenderman more and more, and there's going to be more of a chance that you're going to die. Like the start you're fine until you get to this open area where you've got to collect the 8 pages. Then the game kind of goes into sort of this mine shaft, and I think it's where the game really loses focus. The villain changes. I don't want to spoil too much. Slenderman wasn't annoying, and this villain that they change it to becomes fucking annoying as fuck, and you literally just cannot be bothered playing the game anymore. And it got to the point where I just thought, right, I'm gonna go play Tomb Raider now instead, because, you know, this is crap. But you know, it is on sale for 3 quid. It is a little scary game. It's a little low budget horror game. Yeah, it's not like shit in your pants scary, but it's still very tense. And your heart rate does quicken when you see good old slender men and him walking around. He's basically like your little Facebook stalker. He's liking everything you do. He's popping up. He wants it. The more you let him in, the more he pops up. So in general, I think horror games are kind of taking this sort of first-person perspective. If I know you'll have seen the new Resident Evil. That's all first-person, which is a huge change for the series because it did used to originally be that shit wonky camera, and then it changed to the over-the-shoulder one that became so prevalent in games, and now they are kind of going with this thing that was in Alien Isolation, was in Condemned, is in Slenderman, where you're going first person, and I think it does a really good job of keeping the tension up, to be honest with you, mate. Just being honest with you. Okay, so overall, it is quite an enjoyable game for the price. If you're paying 20 quid for it, I wouldn't bother, but for £3 or whatever, yeah, it's enjoyable. I'll probably give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, so enjoy yourself with that one. Don't try and shit your pants too much because it's a bit embarrassing that you get scared over games. Okay, ciao.